Welcome to our very first episode of In Before the Lock. You've got Rob from the Electric Playground, and welcome Davey from
Hey
Stumblor
Rob.
Pinball. Great to
Hey
have you.
man, how's it going? Yeah, good to be here.
So I guess we're doing this.
Well, I guess so. I don't know. Are we? Is it streaming?
I
Is it
mean,
happening?
I don't know. I
I
should
don't
probably
know.
check Twitch and make sure this is actually live.
Nah, don't
No,
do
all
that,
right,
man.
we're good.
Nah,
We're
who
good.
cares? It's happening.
Well,
Let's
welcome
assume.
to those that are joining us. Super cool to have so many of you show so much interest in checking out the show. This is recorded, so if you miss it, it's going to be out there, and we're going to be on YouTube also next week. So this is our first attempt at streaming in pinball, and we're here to talk about
Yeah.
mods because that's what we do. What's up, guys? Welcome to the very first episode of In Before the Lock. You've got Rob here and my co-host Davey. Davey, how you doing?
I'm very well, thanks, Rob. Very well. Yeah,
Your
good.
audio sounds
Episode one. I'm
great.
excited.
We're
Thanks.
we're here. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, we literally
No,
just planned this like a week ago. Although I think I
we
threw it
did.
your way like a month ago or two. So
Yeah, he came up with the idea a little while ago, and I thought it was a good one. There was a couple of technical hurdles to overcome, obviously. Neither of us are that au fait with streaming, uh, at all. So we had to work out internet issues, we had to work out camera issues, but we're here, we're doing it.
I mean, like, what is the idea? What is
What is
this?
the idea? What are we doing? Do we even have an idea?
Well, all
What did
right,
we
all
talk
right.
about?
Hang on.
Quick, check the
Let's hold on
notes.
for a
Check the
minute. Like,
notes.
we like each other, but no one else knows who we are. So
No.
Davey and I are mod makers in this amazingly creative space known as pinball. I've owned pinball machines for like I guess like 20 years. Has it been a while for you?
That's amazing, man. No, much shorter, probably 6 years.
6 years,
I've
and
been into
it's
pinball
like
for 20 years, but not owned them.
people mod these things. I hear. Is that
Yeah,
true?
yeah, they mod them. But it's kind of a newish concept, really, I guess. I think I talked about this a little bit in the seminar that I did recently that we'll sort of get to later. But um, you know, the idea of modding games probably has only been around for I'm not even sure really. I mean, Twilight Zone, Attack from Mars, these were sort of the big mods that sort of came out, I think, around 10 years ago, around that. Maybe 2007, 2008. I need to check my notes. But yeah, the Attack from Mars Saucer mod came out and sold in bucket loads. And then I guess the mod scene's been growing ever since to the point where it is now, where there's a lot of people, a lot of amazing creative people who are submitting some incredibly fantastic mods for all the new releases and old games as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to know what the history of it is. I kind of have a theory it might be around like when LED lighting started to come around and people were making like very small tweaks, and that kind of grew from there. But for those of you
Mm,
that don't know anything about this space, I mean, like pinball is this amazing game and amazing story, and there's so much opportunity to even involve more things. So like a really easy thing to do is just buy some toys off Amazon and throw them in your game and add an extra Ninja Turtle or whatever. But there's also a whole community of people making specific mods for games that actually tie into the lighting and tie into the interactivity. And Davey and I both
mm.
do that in different ways. So Davey makes some amazing stuff that goes under the glass, so inside the game. And I make stuff that goes on top of the game, kind of like this little lit up 007 sign you see behind me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Topper, yes, I should mention
Yeah.
Topper. SEO, right?
Yeah.
SEO.
That's right, man. That's right. Yeah.
So we decided to do a show because the other thing that's challenging with this is like it's kind of hard to find this stuff, and like this show isn't about our stuff necessarily, although we'll tell you about it whenever stuff's coming up. We want to talk about some of the stuff in the community. So hopefully
Yeah.
some of you guys
Absolutely.
watching, gals watching, or we're talking about your stuff. So this
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
needed a
Absolutely.
name. It needed a name. We had to figure that out.
Yeah.
In before the lock.
In before the lock. Yeah.
What does that mean? The
Well,
community wants
okay.
to know.
All right. So yeah. Okay. So Pinside is is the biggest pinball forum in the world. It's where we all hang out. It's where we all talk about pinball. It's where all the new game releases occur. And it's where the community resides effectively, or the online community, the online pinball community resides. Now, because it's quite a big thing. It's got its own culture. It's got its own saying. It's got its own uh, identity, I suppose. And now, in before the lock is a saying that, look, I don't know whether it originated on Pinside, but I certainly noticed it for the first time on Pinside. And it's what happens when a thread on Pinside goes, as we say in the UK here, pear-shaped. Is that a US expression? Pear-shaped?
Yeah. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah. So it just goes haywire. Now that might be because people start getting political, or people start insulting each other, or somebody's business is getting dragged through the mud, or whatever it is. It's a thread that goes so badly wrong that it's only a matter of time before a mod steps in and shuts it down. So when when pinsiders get wind that a thread is blowing up like this, everybody starts piling on and giving their 2 cents, or some people just jump on and write IBTL, which stands for in before the lock, with the idea being the thread's going to be locked. I'm getting in before that happens.
It's funny because I've spent a lot of time on Pinside, and for some reason this whole thing has eluded me. Maybe I'm not on the right threads. I thought that it meant like you got to get that mode started before the last lock because it sets up the optimal scoring. So whatever, I like my version better.
Whatever it means to you, man. Whatever,
But the more important question, Davey, is like, why would we name our show that?
Because we want to be super controversial. We want to slag everyone off. We want it to be shut down. Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
Well, look, like we're gonna be a tad controversial. We may have some opinions on some things. It's not meant to offend anybody. Really, we want to celebrate everybody, but like, look, there's a lot of options for stuff. So we're gonna be right up on that line of whatever I guess our comfort level is on that.
Absolutely.
So moving on. I mean, we talked. Yeah, go ahead.
Having said that, I was just going to say, having said that, and I think you'd agree with me here, we're both, real believers in the, in propping up the community and, and celebrating that community and, all of the people, all of the creatives within it, I think there's some incredibly talented and creative people within our modding community and within pinball in a wider realm. And essentially, that's what I hope this show sort of is this celebration of those people and helping to raise the profile of these mods that people might not have seen.
Totally. I mean, so many creative people in this space. Like I come from the video game space, and I always used to talk to people because we worked with kids a lot. It was like, look, like, you like music, you like writing, you like marketing, you like graphics, you like coding, like it's all there for you. But what wasn't there is like physical things and electronics and physics, right? And like that's what's so awesome about pinball. And like, look, like in the grand scheme of things, like pinball is taking off, and it's because people are moving away from things that they were doing that were known as like their professional world and investing time in pinball because it's great, and that's exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
So our, we talked a little bit about our goals. Like we want to expose more mods. Like that's going to be kind of the key kind of thing about the show. So if you're tuning in, you're going to learn about some new stuff. You're going to hear about, what we're working on and some of the trends in the space. Speaking of what we're working on, Davey, you've got a lot of stuff going on. At least it seems like it. Like, what's your kind of latest and greatest thing you're working on?
Well, at the moment we're just trying to get stuff out as quickly as possible, and not make mistakes while we're doing it. We've got really long lists for all of the Godzilla mods, and we're still getting through those with the hope that we can get through those in a reasonable amount of time before we can start on the
Is
Area
that the noodle
51
bar?
mod.
Like, have you discontinued anything, or is it just the noodle
No,
bar?
well,
Yeah.
we sort of
Yeah.
discontinued stuff, and then we started it back up again, and then the list blew up again. And I mean, it's been a fantastic, insane roller coaster. And it's always this juggling act of trying to make sure that we get the popular mods in the hands of as many people as possible, because that's a wonderful thing, versus focusing on new stuff, or having the ability to focus on new stuff and to move on with those new things. And it's a juggling act. So the moment we're trying to complete all the Godzilla stuff, which is the Tokyo Neon mod, which is a small sign that is like a neon Tokyo sign that sits to replace one of the existing signs in Godzilla. The Noodle Bar, which is a replacement for a building in the back of Godzilla. And the Lolly UFO, which is a mod kit that sort of goes all over the place. So
you got, I mean, you guys, for anybody that hasn't seen it, you got to check out this Tokyo Tower mod for Godzilla. I mean, like, if modding had like a 1.0 and a 2.0 or whatever, like as soon as that mod was out, like the bar got raised. So just really freaking cool stuff.
Thanks.
And
Thanks,
so all right, we could talk
that.
about all your stuff for a while. We have 2 products underway right now. We've got our Twilight Zone topper, which is awesome, and the feedback on it
unbelievable.
Been fantastic. We just launched that in March of this year. That was the beginning of our company. So we're moving quickly. We've got one new one in shipping, I guess, starting in November, right? Later in November, which is Godzilla, right?
Godzilla.
So Godzilla is like the most heavily modded machine. Totally. This thing's like super interactive, does a bunch of stuff. We show you all the videos, but we're trying not to push our stuff too much here. So you guys go look that up.
But it's got some amazing technology associated with it too, doesn't it? You've implemented some really...
Do you know how many pinside messages I've got? Like, hey, ask Davey about his tech so that I don't have to buy more things to put in my thing. And it's like, but we're trying to figure it out too. It's just like,
and
working with closed systems can be
part
tough.
of the exciting. That's part of the exciting journey of mod making, is to work out, ways of making these things more interactive. I mean, I know for you guys and for me, one of the most exciting things that you can do with mods is to make them so they feel as much a part of the game as possible. And the best way of doing that is to listen to the game and to respond to things that are going on in the game, and to follow the leads of the game is telling you to do.
Totally.
So and there's various ways of doing that. We probably won't get into the technicalities of doing it. Of how we do that now, because it's a big conversation. Maybe we'll say that for another time. But it's always great when you see people implementing new ways of doing that, and going and hitting them up at shows and saying, talk me through that. How did you do that? How did you get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, look, like we actually just came from EXPO in Chicago, Schaumburg, Illinois, just in the last week or two. Davey flew all the way in from Australia, which was sweet to see him there.
No, from London, bro. From London.
Oh, London. Sorry. Originally Australia.
Yeah, originally
London on the way in.
No, it's confusing. It's confusing.
We'll fix that in post. So we were both there, and we have an agenda for this episode. So a little flash there at the bottom for you. We're going to talk a little bit about Expo, and then we've got some other fun stuff coming up. I think we both took a bunch of photos and want to share some stuff. You want to dive in on kind of some of the highlights from the show for you? Yeah.
At least if we cut to a different video, then I won't have to worry about fixing the focus on my camera every 2 weeks. Okay, so let's do it. Good. So look, the most exciting thing about Expo this time around was that we got treated to 3 new machines that hadn't been seen before.
1, 2. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you count as a new machine, but it has to be. You have to be able to play it to count it as new,
right? Yeah. So definitely 2, and a brand new company as well. And so we were both at TPF, which was another show in March in Texas. and there were how many machines? 5 new machines there.
Oh yeah,
Give
I
or
think
take
maybe even 6. It was a lot, but big
6.
year in
Okay,
general. Yeah.
and then what? 6 months, 7 months, or whatever it was later, we're at another show, and there's 2 more brand new machines released. You know, an amazing time in pinball, and you know, the biggest hyped up game of the show, I think, would be an accurate way of saying that, is
Yep.
Labyrinth.
Yep.
Brand new company, Barrels of Fun. This is their first ever game. It's a massive license. You know, David Bowie.
Are we back? All right, guys. I don't know what happened there. We'll piece that together so you can see the whole thing. Hopefully, we're live again. I was gonna check it, and you wouldn't let me check it. All right, so we were talking about Labyrinth. It's the balls. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah. That's the headline. Labyrinth. It's great. Move on. Yeah. We're actually not really too sure what we showed and what we didn't. But instead of just like re-going over the same stuff, you know, again, we're just gonna move on. So we're gonna move on with the next game that was at the show, which was by JJP, Jersey Jack Pinball, Elton John. So it got. I mean, the rumor that it was going to be Elton John by JJP was sort of like a pretty badly kept secret. Everybody was like, "This is going to be terrible." That was kind of the general, you know, feeling amongst the pinball community. You know, why are you choosing Elton John? This is a rubbish theme. It doesn't suit pinball, etc., etc., etc. And then they kind of dropped it, and you know, I watched the announcement video or whatever, and I was like, looks okay. But I wasn't like, oh my God, it was amazing. But then we all lined up, as you can see here in the lines for waiting for Elton. You know, we saw the game itself, and it looked, you know, pretty damn sexy, I think you'll admit. This is the, oh God, I can never remember. It was CE, Platinum, LE?
This is the Platinum, yeah.
Platinum.
And it is damn sexy. I mean,
it's
a lot
super
going
sexy.
on color-wise on this one.
Yeah, so the artwork on this one was done by, I was talking to Barry from Dutch, and he said that his friend did it, which is the reason why he has to go for the Platinum, because his friend did the artwork. So that's really interesting that his friend did the artwork for this one. And I'll just quickly, okay, there it is again. The LE. I mean, look, it's a good looking game, you know, and no mistake. But this is the artwork for the other one, which is the CE. Is that right? CE for the.
I think it's
lower...
Platinum and.
Oh, sorry.
This is the old. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the lower.
It's the cheaper one.
Yeah, yeah. This is the cheaper one. Again,
which I like it better. I mean, the art
good.
on this one is.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's really cool, isn't it? It's really cool. So this one's by Franchi. So yeah, 2 different artists to do the 2 different cab arts for both of those 2 versions. But you know, interestingly, they're both really well spec'd. You know, you can see that they've sort of got the inside cab art. Can you see my mouse when I'm doing this? I don't know whether you can or not.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Okay, so they've both got this inner cab art blades going down the side here. They both got toppers, different toppers, but they both got toppers, which is still an amazing thing. And you know, there's no difference to the playfield as far as I remember. I don't think there's any difference to the playfield.
No, I think it's just the cab art and the topper, and then also it's got the painted. I think one's gold, one's silver.
Yeah. Okay. So look, there's a lot of interesting features to this. You know, things to notice straight away is this LED wraparound panel that they've got going around the piano. I mean, instantly I saw this, and I was, you know, from a mod making perspective, I was like, that is cool what they've done there. There's been recently released minute 1mm by 1mm LEDs that have hit the market. I don't know when they hit the market. I got notice from it from a friend, but I think that's what they're using here, just in really high density and on a flexible PCB, so it can wrap around the piano. I mean, that's super cool. It's never been done before.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got such a big screen. I love what Labyrinth's doing on the back panel, but like this element in particular is almost as good as another screen for me, just because
Yeah,
it's got that nostalgia kind of old school vibe to it.
yeah, yeah. The Elton John wording here is all lit as well, sort of in a very sort of showground lighting kind of way. I mean, it's a very good looking game. And when I shot it, I wasn't expecting it to be as fun as it was. It was ridiculously fun. So I was essentially slagging this title off before I played it, and then after playing it, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think universally people were kind of like, "What? This is a weird move for Jersey Jack."
Yeah.
After arguably, mediocre titles, but I think everyone also had a different tune. Now we'll see how it does in terms of like how many people are bringing in their collection. But beautiful game, beautiful game.
Yeah, beautiful game. And the other point to make as well is that while games like look, Jersey Jack are a more is more kind of company. They just throw everything at it in terms of lighting and rainbow effects, and I mean they've got a very camp approach to making pinball, and that doesn't work when you are making games like Godfather, which should be more reserved, darker, more moody. Their rainbow LED approach to pinball doesn't suit a title like that. But for a game like Elton John, I mean, it's perfect. And that's what I failed to grasp when, they announced that this was going to be their next title. So yeah, impressive.
Very.
Okay.
What else you got?
What else have I got? All right, okay. So just very quickly, I think we're probably doing really badly for time, but let's have a quick look at Alien, which is it's an existing game from the Pinball Brothers, but they've just announced that they're re-releasing it with Ripley footage. So Sigourney Weaver, I think, probably didn't sign off to the original version, or didn't sign off to her footage being used. They couldn't reach an agreement or whatever it was. But they are in the process of reaching an agreement to use Ripley's footage in this version of Alien, which is a great thing for Pinball Brothers. I don't think the deal's been finalised yet. It's still subject to approval. You can see that Sigourney Weaver's likeness is not actually on the back glass. I had a bit of a chat with them about that, as did I think a lot of people. But all in all, they've got new sculpts in the game. There's a new alien at the back. It all looks beautiful.
And this one, I think this one is quite a bit more affordable than the other models, right? Maybe
absolutely,
8K?
Yeah. It is. I think they've
And
dropped
what
the
is
price on it
this?
as well.
What is
this? What is that thing? Yeah. Okay. So Lior is now working very closely with both Dutch and Pinball Brothers, and this is the new Lior top art for Alien. I mean, Lior does incredible work, very detailed. I was told that, I mean, Lior's Israeli. He is in a war zone at the moment, effectively. He had to take this topper to the airport and put it on the plane himself, is what the story that I heard, in order to get it to EXPO in time to show it off. You weren't allowed to touch it because it was a prototype, and I think, it was like not thrown together, obviously, but it was put together at the last minute. But you can see the detail and the work that has gone into this. Those little alien pod thingies that hatch new aliens are all lit up. There's beautiful lighting in the back section here. Great detailing on the alien. I mean, if you're an Alien fan, this should be right up your street, I would imagine.
Yeah, super cool. And apparently there's a lot more to come with this, right? I think that we've even seen some new paint jobs on this since. So pretty early.
Oh, okay.
Awesome for them to, pretty cool. I think he said it was broken in 27 places, which
oh my god, yeah.
Mad respect for bringing something out, letting us see it, which is a lot of fun.
I mean, it looked great to me. And big respect to Lior for making these amazing relationships, recently in the last 6 months with all these big manufacturers. He's doing incredibly well, so that's great.
I think we have a question from the audience. What is
I love it. Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
No, it's not really a question, but I'm curious your response. It's on the screen.
Hang on, what's the question? Alien pod thingies, eggs. That's from Slippy. Hey, Slippy, how you going, man? Good to see you.
All right. Are
Who we
you
got? I should have been
Are
checking
you
the
through?
comments, shouldn't
I
I?
cut you off there.
Hang on.
Um,
Hello, sorry for bothering you. I wanted to offer promotion
oh
and
no,
show
don't read that. Don't
offers.
read
Not that
that.
one? Okay, that's
No,
just some.
that's called
These are,
spam,
yeah,
Davey.
these are the things that we need to kill, isn't it? Where's the spam filter? Rob, this is your job. You need to be removing stuff like
Hey
this
man,
before I
I
start
got to
reading it
start
out
with
on
keeping
stream.
the stream alive before I can tackle that.
Okay.
Is it my turn
That's
or are
all
you still going? I cut you off. All right. Sweet.
No, yeah, I'm still going.
Okay, go.
So
Go.
the next thing that I want to talk about is the homebrews. Yeah. So these are considered homebrews, I suppose. I mean, look, Funhouse and Whirlwind 2.0 are done by Pedretti. They're not a homebrew company. Swords of Vengeance, I think, still could be considered homebrew. But anyway, there was a showing of these 2.0 games. I didn't get to play any of them, but they were there, and that's great. We're going to quickly move on just so that we're not going to run out of time. These are some of the other homebrews that were in the homebrew section. Got one called Beer Fest. What is that? Ghost in the Shell. Animal House, which is a
I think we
single
still
level
see your
playfield.
last image.
Oh, do you? Oh, whoops. So sorry. That's because I've not done this. There we go. Is that better?
Nope.
Is this better?
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, okay. This is what's going to happen, folks. You know, consummate professionals. Okay, so yeah, we got Beer Fest, Ghost in the Shell, Animal House, Mass Effect. This was a Nightmare Before Christmas. You can see the playfield. I didn't get a chance to play. I didn't get a chance to play any of these homebrews. Actually, I did play Beer Fest. Actually, I played that. Oops, gone the wrong way. This was Beavis and Butthead. Unfortunately, I think that was off. What's that?
I got to play this one. It was
Did
pretty
you?
cool. It
Was
looked
it
like
functioning?
it was, yeah. It played pretty solid. I mean, a lot going on with this one, and really cool end sequence. I won't give it away. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to play it someday. But lots of really cool
awesome.
integration with the assets.
Yeah, every time I was over there was always somebody on it, so I didn't get an opportunity, unfortunately. This is another one to show, but I can't remember which one this is, and I didn't take a picture of anything that would describe it. But I mean, it looks amazing. Some incredible work done there. And then, okay, so this one is called the Magic Forest. Now, this one is done by a guy called Lynn, who has also done sort of the Haunted Cruise. He's done a bunch of other machines as well. I got a good chance to have a speak with him, actually, and he's a lovely guy. He's using a lot. He's a games developer by trade, and he's got a really cool approach to making pinball. A lot of Pepper's Ghost type effects in all of his games, or in a lot of his games, particularly with Haunted Cruise, and just very interesting games to play. I played Magic Forest for a good long while, and it was just a very unique game and quite fun to shoot, actually. So yeah, I was really impressed with that one. But look, this is the game that stole the show out of the homebrews in Expo. This is 8 Ball Beyond, and it has been made as a sort of a love letter, I guess, to the 8 Ball series of pinball machines. There's 3 games, properly manufactured and released 8 Ball games before this one. This is obviously a homebrew, and the idea is that it has taken the best or the most interesting aspects of those previous games and combined it into this machine, and then put a twist on it. Now, to just give you an indication of now, let me see if I can just zoom in here. This is a really bad image, I'm afraid, so the resolution's not going to be great, but this is the series of 8 Ball games. The original one, 8 Ball Deluxe, which is probably the one that most people probably know and love the most. And then 8 Ball Champ here. Now you can see there's no upper flipper here. There's an upper flipper on the left here and a row of drop targets on the right here as a recipient for that left flipper shot. And then on 8-ball champ, you can see that there is another upper flipper here, shooting, I guess, these targets. I've not actually played 8-ball champ, so I couldn't really comment on, you know, the functionality of that game, but certainly 8-ball deluxe is the one that gets all the attention. So you can see that those drop targets have been reproduced over here on 8-ball beyond, except with a right flipper shot this time. There's other aspects to it here that have this kinky sort of bend up here, which I guess you could have, you know, look at these other games and it could have been pulled from there as well. You know, this upper shot here is sort of, you know, very much been replicated from these other games as well. So yeah, it's really interesting. Now, are you there, Rob?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, man. So this is the bit that I wanted to show you as well. That now have a look at this, man.
Oh, I haven't seen this. Oh wow,
man. Yeah, look at this. So this is just.
I'd say they've come a long way. Huh?
It's So this is a whitewood, which means that this is a version that was before all the artwork that they did on it. But have a look at this trick shot, right? So this is trying to, I guess, be like a snooker trick shot. So you hit this U bend, it gets stalled on the drop target. You then hit the drop target and then shoot both shots into the scoop. I mean, that's amazing.
And I assume that's playing on repeat because that's some pretty.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Consistent. Okay.
It's just.
It actually looks like it's just them doing it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I could literally watch this all day. But if look, if the manufacturers aren't paying attention to stuff like this, then they're fools, because this is an amazing thing, an amazing idea that he's done here. Yeah, and I wish him all the success. I hope this gets manufactured, because I'm buying one if it is.
I mean, that's brilliant too, to like do that into the 8-ball, and this series of games is pretty classic. So this one has a lot of potential. I mean, for the right manufacturer, you know, bringing this to market, I think there's a world where that could happen. So that's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me your Expo impressions, Rob.
Yeah, Expo highlights. So guys, I know we missed about the first 4 or 5 minutes due to a streaming issue, but we're going to post it all together. We're going through Expo right now. We've got a full agenda for you guys. We're going to talk about some specific mods, and we've got a couple little fun segments, so stay tuned for that. So for my Expo highlights, my first one was one of the homebrews. This one's called Trashlands, and it's still in this whitewood stage that you were talking about. But what was so cool about this game is just the amount of like interaction in it. So one thing to note is the cabinet is different, right? But it kind of needs that because it works upwards. This is Ryan McQuaid with American Pinball, who actually is known for a homebrew of himself. He did Sonic Spinball. And this homebrew scene is really cool because, especially for Davey and I, who are like so into modding, it's like these guys just take it to another level in terms of like our skills are not even comparable. Especially this one. I mean, you've got this like back vertical play field. It goes up to this upper play field, and then you've got this like lower play field down here in the bottom left-hand corner,
which is ramped back that way, isn't it? So
yeah, the flipper's coming up. And all this stuff works. I'm not really sure how seamless it is all coming together, but super impressive, and looking forward to seeing this one coming together. This black and white Twilight Zone was the highlight of the show for me. I guess it's been to some other shows, but the level of detail from like a mod perspective, I mean, this is like a mod class all of its own. If you don't know this game, you can probably imagine it's in full color. What this Mike has done with Great American Pinball is basically turn this thing completely black and white, top to bottom. It's absolutely gorgeous. Apparently, no one's actually even played it, because he certainly wouldn't let me play it. But very,
so do you know why? Do you know why it was unplayable? Like,
I think that there was some rumors that like the playfield couldn't handle the ball action, but I asked him that, and he was like, "No, that's not true." He's just like, we may want to do some more of these to make them playable, but he was like, this one in particular. I mean, I'm sure he's rolled the ball around, but allegedly,
I mean, look, it's absolutely gorgeous. I did hear people. I did hear stories on the floor where people were offering him like 20K for it, and he was saying no.
Yeah, I mean, he was describing some of the things that he had to do to make this happen. I mean, changing the playfield to black and white's one thing, but finding all these replacement objects that are all black and white, and like
Yeah.
this is a sight to be seen.
Yeah. Incredible.
What
Absolutely
else?
incredible.
So this actually wasn't at Expo, and you'll soon see why.
Okay.
But a gentleman from the Netherlands shared this with us, and he has
Yeah.
literally turned his garage into an actual Twilight Zone pinball machine.
Oh my God. Okay.
And this is like, look at this. That's actually a
Oh
flipper.
my God.
Did I show you this, Davey, at the show?
No, man, no. This is the first time for me. Yeah,
I
first time.
mean,
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
it's a
Oh my
highlight for
God.
me because one,
Yeah.
he has our Twilight Zone topper, which you're going to see shortly, but also just the community
Yeah.
side of this.
Look,
And like,
the ramp up on the up
I
on the
mean,
wall.
like, this is like
ball top,
modding your game room here, which is insanity.
Oh my
He's
God.
clearly a big fan of pinball.
Yeah, you
I'll
think?
I'll go forward a little bit here. Zoom
Yeah.
us through this. Check this out.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Oh my God.
Clock
Does it do anything? Does it?
I
if
don't
it-
know.
if it
The
actually
ball
sends
apparently
if it-
rolls. Yeah.
Oh my God. So he's
and
got a
of course
ball on
he-
there as well. He's got a ball on
Yeah,
there as
so
well.
you can actually push that along. But super cool and quite the collection.
Totally.
Super fun, humble guy. So that was awesome. Gotta
Now I just
give a
wanna do
shout
that to my
out.
garage.
I know. Got to give a shout out to an amazing award that we received for our Godzilla Topper Best Mod of the show. So thank you to whoever it was that contributed to that decision. We're certainly honored. Here's a
Well, it's
photo
very
I got
well
with.
deserved, mate.
This is with Don at Don's Pinball Podcast, giving us a shout out. So
Yeah.
just
Hey, Don.
community wise, it was really
Yeah.
cool. And then my highlight of the show, for multiple reasons, was this one of a kind, I assume, St. Louis, which is where I'm from, St. Louis, Missouri. Godzilla Topper. You've got the arch in there, but it had literally like this like Tesla coil that would shoot out sparks when you activated a certain mode.
There's
And
not
it was
enough
loud as
sparks
all
in
hell.
pinball.
It was loud as all hell, and I
Yeah.
actually knew the sound because I had bought one of these with the consideration of putting it into a topper, and the fire hazard alone was like not gonna
There's
happen.
no way you're gonna get that CE certified, bro.
So we got a comment coming in. I gotta say what's up to Don. He gave us a shout out.
Hey man, how you
John,
going?
thanks for showing up. So yeah, those are
We're actually
those
doing
are,
it. We're actually doing it. Yeah.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Only with
So,
minor.
so those are my
technical
Expo
glitches.
highlights. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. All right. What's next on the
Amazing
agenda? Let's
Yeah.
move on.
So moving on, we're moving on to it's a mod world. We're going to talk about a couple of mods that have caught our attention recently, and these things are hard to, keep up on if you don't own the machine. If you're not on the Pinside thread, if you're not on the Facebook groups, like you're going to miss this stuff, and that's a big part of what we're trying to do on the show is like bring attention to some of the stuff that's out there. So I've got one, and I think Davey, you've got two. So go for it. Let's see what you got.
Yeah. 2 or 3. Yeah. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the UK crew. Let me just get my okay. So I'm just going to share on screen. Yeah. So there's two guys in the UK who are sort of contemporaries of mine who are doing incredible mod work. The first of those guys is John J85M, who's been working tirelessly to bring a number of mods to market. This is probably the one that's had the biggest sort of impact for him, and it's the Bond shooter. I'd say. Let me just play the video for that quickly. We got the sound coming, Dewey.
Does it play sounds?
Oh no! I thought I'd kill the sound.
This thing is sick. I mean, like,
yeah. I mean, it's great, isn't it? Yeah.
I just love watching this video.
Yeah, I know.
So well
Yeah,
done.
so it's obviously the Bond gear stick, isn't it? From his DB, whatever it is. I'm not the most massive Bond nerd, but anyway, it's got the button, and it shoots the ball when you click the button. Yeah, I mean, how cool is that? That's so good.
So amazing.
Look,
so wait, does it come out like that, or is that just for demo purposes?
That's just for demo purposes.
Okay. Because I was like, I watched a different video. I don't think that's supposed to do that.
Yeah, no. This is just me being all prepared to show.
Or maybe it has an extension rod with this like thing for turning on the power. Like, did you see that?
I didn't see that. No. But no,
we're gonna have to cover that on another episode because it's quite the contraption. But anyway, keep going.
Yeah, so look, he's done incredible work with this. It's sold really well. He's the quality level on it's really good. But yeah, he's I guess he's new to the modding scene. So we talk a lot behind the scenes about what it takes to to be a bond maker and to bring products to market. And the reality is that the creative side of mod making is only like a tenth of the battle. The rest is logistic. It's about getting parcels to people. It's making sure they get to the right person, making sure that they've asked for everything if there's special requests. Like there's a whole organizational learning process to be had when you're sending out mods. And we talk a lot about this behind the scenes to myself and John and myself and other mod makers as to how best to approach these problems in order to scale, particularly if you get a hit. You can go from 20 mods in a couple of months to like hundreds, and suddenly you need to work out how to manage that without screwing it all up. And it's difficult. It's probably the most difficult part of mod making is managing that process. And it's not glamorous. It's not necessarily fun. But it's absolutely key in ensuring that you maintain a good reputation and that people are happy with what they're receiving.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can start off with thinking you're going to sell 25 of these, and you kind of build this plan, and then it ends up being more, and it can actually not only hurt those 25, but it could hurt the next 50 because you start thinking about how can I make this more efficient, because they take. Yeah. I bet that thing takes 4 or 5 hours to make at low volumes. And, and that might not work for his plans, so it's super interesting. But the community is generally very patient, I would say, as long as you're actually like communicating and
hitting those. Without a doubt. I think as a UK guy or as an Australian living in the UK, when I first started posting on Pinside, I was really scared of the response that I was going to get. I thought that, I'd be seen as an outsider, or, that, people, just wouldn't be very kind to what I was doing, I suppose. And the opposite is true. I've only, probably 99% of the time had just absolutely positive experiences from dealing with people. And I feel very appreciative of that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this one is super cool, and I love the theme integration. I mean, that's a no-brainer, but that mod was not trivial to make. So, kudos to the team.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're gonna talk bond mods for a little bit, aren't we? Have you got a bond mod that you want to?
I mean, I got my bond back here. We're not going to talk about that amazing topper from Stern, but it is a favorite of mine. So this one's pretty cool because. It's controversial, actually, just in the nature of what it is. So Gumnut, along with he's from Sydney, and he's got a partner in this who does a lot with wireforms. But what they've essentially done is modded the ball trajectory with this mod, which I've been on some forums for Godzilla where people have floated this stuff, and it's gotten pretty ugly, and that's unfortunate because that guy was just making it for himself. But this one's actually taken off. I mean, I think he's got about 75 people lined up. I know I'm on the list, and basically,
it's a no-brainer, really. From
what you've got here is you've got this kick that kicks out the ball into the middle of the playfield, and it can cause some straight down the middle type situations, but it's also just not as interesting as if it came over here. So basically what he's done is he's created this All right, this is a little rough around the edges because it was an early model, but pretty cool. He's thinking about the theme. What it does is it kicks the ball over and into the left flipper. So I think this is a bit of an older video. He's probably wishing I wasn't showing this one because it looks a lot better now. But it's all polished and it's like, it looks like it's top of the line. And what this is doing is like anytime it goes over into that area, it's giving you access to some key shots. I think there's actually 4 shots coming from that flipper, including the one that you might have gotten if you left the ball, based on the original design. I don't.
And have you read the thread recently, like in the last week or so?
No, fill me in.
Yeah, because basically it's 2 guys, isn't it? 2 guys in Australia who are sort of working in conjunction with each other.
There we go.
And one of them lives in Adelaide, and one of them lives in Sydney. And so they've been sort of sending this thing back and forth, like fettling it, trying to make it sort of as good as it can possibly be. But they've kind of decided amongst themselves that that's not good enough. So I think the guy the guy in Adelaide is driving with his son to Sydney in order to spend a weekend with this other dude in order to like really dial it in.
Sweet.
And like Adelaide to Sydney is like it's like a 12-hour drive or something. Australia's a big place. Like on the whole of Australia, it's like this much, and it's still like a 12-hour drive. So
yeah, I know they really want to get it out before. I think they committed to like before Christmas.
Right. Yeah.
And but yeah, I'm excited about this one. I mean, I think one thing that's good about this is like I personally can't envision how. So this game's still in development. They're still changing code. I can't personally see how like this decision as a owner of this game would come back to bite you from a code perspective. So I'm hopeful for that. But
Rob, can you explain to me? So are they changing the coil in this kick out at all? Like,
I think they're changing the scoop. So it's a super strong coil.
Yeah,
that kicks it way up the playfield, and I think they're kind of just redirecting the ball, and it's already got enough strength to kick over. Yeah. Honestly, haven't dug into it that much, but because you would based on the price, which is go ahead.
Well, I was going to say you would think that like with a super strong coil and it having like a super strong kick out, it's almost like this was supposed to be there in the first place, and it was a design decision to remove it. Because otherwise you just have like a really weak coil like flicking the ball out, right? Anyway.
Well, I know one thing, like, so George Gomez is like really big on getting the ball into the pops. I haven't personally seen why the ball being in the pops is so damn important, but I know that for him, he's like, you want the ball in the pops. It does kind of build this kind of like, if you get enough pops, it gives you a reward. But this game is cool because it's come along such a long way. One thing is it used to take like 3 hits on the right ramp to start a villain mode. Now it only takes 1, so this is a little less important to have. But anyway, I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm like
look, it's like what you said earlier. There's been a couple of these mods that have been released that I consider sort of game changing mods. They do alter how the game is played. And they are contentious because people are traditionalists generally. They want to see the designer's intent carried on, and so when there was another one recently for Rick and Morty where somebody created something called the Jerry ramp, which allowed easier shots into the garage. I think that one can be more easily seen as contentious to this one, where this one seems very much like it's improving the quality of something that needed improvement.
We'll see. I mean, it's I think it's going to have a lot of potential. So kudos to those guys on putting themselves out there on that one.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more on Bond, shall we? Right, this is another UK friend of mine. Shout outs to my good friend Paul Jasbush, who has created the Bond laser mod. Have you seen this one, Rob?
Yes, I have, and I'm like not a big fan of some of the stuff I've seen people put up there because that's a pretty obvious spot. This one is definitely, I mean, classic moment, and there's a lot, and you're involved with this one, or is that true?
Yeah, I'm doing the board work on this one. Yeah.
Are you doing the tech? Are you the tech guy?
Yeah, I'm the tech guy. I'm the tech guy. Yeah, so this is a little bit of a blowing my own trumpet moment. But look, it's all Paul's concept. It's obviously all his sculpt work. Paul owns a toy company, amazingly. What an incredible thing to have. So he's got a lot of, and this is an old video, so it's changed a fair bit since then. I think the laser's a lot more shorter anyway, so you can actually see the dots sort of moving along the play field. I'm going to blame Paul for not updating his video on that one. I'm not going to be able to find it.
So were you involved in the early creative process on this, or were you more kind of
it was all Paul's idea, but the concept of it is that it's kind of a mini game in that section. So hitting one ramp will start the laser, or two ramps or whatever it is, and then the idea is you have to hit those ramps a consecutive number of times within a time frame before Bond gets his knackers burnt off. If you hit it within, I think it's 20 or 30 seconds, then the laser sort of flashes green and you've won the mini game. And if you don't, then it glows red and Bond loses his knackers.
So it doesn't move, right?
Yeah, it does. The laser moves along the... It does, yeah. So... I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to. You want it, do you? Yeah, you can see that it's moving along there. So the idea is that laser, because there's an LED strip under there, right? So the laser sort of moves up, getting closer and closer to his knackers, and that's what represents the time running out. So
the laser doesn't move. The visual
the laser doesn't move.
Okay,
that's correct.
So just because we're talking about mods, like. Was there a point where you guys were talking about let's try to make it move and you kind of abandoned that, or what's any insight on that process?
No. We I mean, generally when other people come to me with stuff, like I'll sort of provide sort of input and suggestions and stuff, but I'll really just let them run with it. Particularly when I'm just being sort of, I guess, a board supplier or a tech supplier. To these guys, it's their creative vision, and I don't want to sort of stifle that in any way, or even take the credit for something that has been, their idea and their concept. And look, generally, these guys are coming up with such great ideas anyway. I just kind of add a bit of, technical, I guess, panache to whatever they're doing. Just light up some LEDs and stuff, but the rest is all them. So, yeah,
I feel like my questions are making you uncomfortable.
They are actually. Can you ask more questions that make me seem like I'm a better person than I actually am?
No, this is cool. I mean, this is a great example of one that nobody knows about unless they own Bond, right? And even then, you gotta dig for it. So, super cool. Dude, when is that one coming out?
It's out. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see. I think we've. Maybe sent him 100 boards, so I think he's maybe fulfilled the first 100, and I think I'm not sure what the list is at the moment. I mean, we could probably check, couldn't we? Let's see. Oh yeah, look, 120 on the list. So we'll probably pass this 100, point. We'll probably do another short run of 50. But I think, based on sort of the conversations that I've had with Paul over the last couple of days, he's going to shift back onto the Atomic Godzilla, which is his very, very popular Godzilla replacement for the little figure on Godzilla, which has just been smash hit for him. I think the list is sort of approaching 1,000 now. I think he's shifting back onto that, so we're sort of getting a few boards ready for that as we speak.
Very cool.
Should we talk about a couple of... Go on, you go first.
Well, there was one mention of a Venom spinner. Do you know what that is?
Look, Don just mentioned it, didn't he? You need to feature my Venom spinner. Yeah, okay. Let's hear about the Venom spinner. I don't know about the Venom spinner.
Let us know how to find it if that's actually a thing. I'm super curious. Did you have one more, or are we moving on?
Oh, look, I was going to quickly give shout outs to T-Diddy as well for his Drake building. That's been an incredibly popular Godzilla mod as well for the center building. I think he's just reaching the end of his list now. But congrats on that, Tom, man. That's been an awesome mod.
done great work on that. Can't wait to see what you do next as well. And then finally, I was just going to talk about Greg Medicinal as well, who's
Yeah.
just recently shifted back onto his Elvira mod. Now, look, this wasn't available for a long time. You know, Greg does beautiful hand painted sculpt work. His style is very conducive to this kind of dark, spooky sort of theme. So perfectly suited to Elvira. But look, the bad side, I guess, to him sort of getting back into this one is that his mods were getting ripped off by some dude. And, you know, he spoke about it in the thread. If you want to check out the details, go on the thread and look it up. I don't really know the specifics, but he made the decision to revisit this one just because he wanted people to get the real deal, I guess. And, you know, I guess if other people are trying to profiteer on his hard work and his creativity, like, that's not cool. You know, again, that's a contentious argument to have, whether it's cool or not cool, and people have different opinions on it. But look, I'm a Greg fan, so you know, if people want this mod and you know Greg's willing to do more of them, then that's just a great thing for both Elvira and for Pinball. So yeah, if you want to get back on the list, then jump on, because you know, Greg doesn't tend to sort of keep these things on forever. So when it's gone, it's
And we had a recent update to Elvira, the blood red kit. There's the thumb.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Did it do it?
Movie magic.
Yeah.
Movie
this
magic.
This is the thing that we noticed it. Yeah, there we go. Look. Yeah.
So is he making a black and white one of this, or has that been announced?
He is, mate. He is. Yeah. And so the blood red Elvira is one of the sexiest pinball machines that I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know that I'm getting one yet. I haven't got confirmation from our distributor that he's even getting some, but I thought I'd order the black and white kit from Greg just on the chance that I managed to score one. Yeah, so I don't even own a Elvira yet, and I'm ordering one.
Getting a little hot and bothered over there, it seems.
Yeah, always. It's my default state.
Awesome. All right, so that is that's the end of our mod roundup. Although we want to talk a little bit about what we're working on, just because we know a lot of you guys are here to support us. When we have new stuff coming out, we're going to share that with you just to keep you up to date. Sometimes we'll kind of talk about some of the nitty gritty with it, because I know like just the mod making process is really interesting to people. Running a business, trying to figure things out. So for the Electric Playground, super busy right now in manufacturing. We're getting the latest batch of Twilight Zone out the gate. We hand number each one, which it's not a selling feature. It's just they're just numbered, so we know which one you have. But we just got through our 100th unit, so that's super exciting to get our 100th Twilight Zone out the door. And then Godzilla, we've got our first batch of, I think, 25 orders going out later this month. We've got the boxes. Ironically, it's always the frickin' boxes. We're waiting on the boxes to show up.
This is the thing. This is the thing we were talking about earlier. Like the things that can screw you up that have got nothing to do with like.
I mean,
making mods.
You do fancy boxes and it bites you in the ass. But yeah, so that's coming, and then we've got some more stuff coming next year, which we'll keep you guys updated. What are you working on, Davey?
We've again, like we sort of, you know, you've got your heart set on like just doing the entirety of a particular run, and then, you know, we get 100 LED boards in that were 100% perfect the last time they came in, and then suddenly 50% of them don't work and have to go in the bin. And then that screws everything up, because, you know, you're then waiting on more boards to arrive. And so it just becomes this sort of juggling act of, you know, stock and inventory management. And so, yeah, we were working on the noodle bar. Luckily, we've got Tokyo Neon and Lolly UFO mods for Godzilla sort of ready to go. So we quickly shifted focus back onto those while we wait for these more boards to arrive. And, you know, this is the juggling act, I guess, of mod making and keeping the ball rolling, and making sure that you don't have, like, you know, 2 weeks or 3 weeks of downtime, because, like you make promises to people. You say, it's probably going to be November that we start shipping these out. And if it's not, then you'll start getting emails and PMs. And, of course, that is all part of it. And, I love talking to people about those kinds of things. But, you need to keep things moving, and it's a tricky thing. So we've been doing that juggling act and then trying to gear up for the Area 51 mod for Foo Fighters, which is the next big one that we haven't started yet.
Is that the one for the upper playfield?
Yeah, that's the one, man. Yeah.
That's cool.
You could probably just see it lit up there in the background.
Squint real tight.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah, man.
We got that out of the way. So we got one more segment for you guys before we wrap this up. Thank you for being here with us. We got about 25 listeners, which is awesome to have on the first show.
Thanks so much, guys,
for being here.
Thanks so much.
Yes. So this one we're going to call on the spot. And the idea here is that I'm going to float a topic. I've got my answer prepared because I'm floating the topic, and Davey's got to come up with his while I talk. So favorite shot in pinball.
Okay.
So you got it? Thinking about it? So
I'm thinking. You go first, then I'll have a think.
Yeah. So favorite shot in pinball is probably typically going to be related to a machine that you owned, or at least in my mind it is. And my favorite machine that I've owned, and one that I don't have in my collection any longer, but I want to, is Stern's Jurassic Park. Keith Elwin game, amazing. And I just love the smart missile shot. This is a situation where a little bit deeper into the game, you have a couple opportunities where the ball is coming down the left in lane and it gets stopped by a post. You see that ball get stopped by a post in some other situations, but this one in particular is then going to give you about 5 seconds to flip through 5 or 6 potential perks, and all of them are quite fantastic, especially if you're really like strategizing for your game. And you then have to quickly select what you want, and then there's some pretty cool sound effects, and then you basically have to like shoot all the way up to the back corner of the playfield through the pops. But not only through the pops, you've got this situation where there's a ball, a kinetic ball on a truck. If you play the game, you know what I'm talking about. And it's actually always positioned to be in the hardest spot. So you got to thread it past the kinetic ball, through the pops, into a target in the back. And if you get it, you got extra ball. You've got start, the Raptor multi-ball, start chaos, I think may be a situation. But it's just like a real payoff situation.
Yeah, super satisfying when you nail it. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So kudos to the designers on that one. Davey, what are you thinking? Favorite shot in pinball?
I mean, look, I got a bunch, I think. But look, and probably I've got 2 favorite games of all time, really. One of them is Creature from the Black Lagoon, which I feel a very strong emotional connection to just because of my history with it. I'm not going to get into it now, but the other game is Dyna. And that's the one that jumped out to me when you mentioned the question. In Dyna, there's a clock in the back box, which represents the jackpot that you've built up over the course of the game, and it starts at 1 o'clock and goes to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, all the way up to 12 o'clock, and you can build that up by consecutive hits to the left ramp, and the ramps on Dyna have a crossover in the middle, so it means when you hit the left ramp, it goes back to the right flipper to hit the left ramp, right flipper, left ramp. So it's like a continuous shot. And I know some people don't like those kind of shots, but I really enjoy like those consecutive repeatable shots, just because, if you can really get them going, it's a real buzz, right? So if you can keep those shots going, over the course of the game, then you build up that jackpot to like 12 million. And then if you collect all the characters, there we go. You got Diner up. Look at that, super professional.
Virtual Diner.
That'll do. Yeah.
Is this the right game? Is this the right one?
It is, mate. Yeah. So this is.
I bring it up because like a lot of people haven't played this one because it's kind of a deep track.
System
right?
11. Yeah, and it's quite a rare System 11 as well.
So I was really intrigued by what you're saying, but I was having a hard time visualizing it. So it's
yeah.
This
Okay.
one up here?
So you see where it says Diner on the left there. So there's that left ramp, And that left ramp then comes back to the right flipper, goes up the left ramp, right flipper, left ramp, right flipper. And so you sort of build up your bonus, with that. Then all these characters in the middle here, you collect those over the course of the game by hitting drop targets and various other things. And when you collect all 5 of those characters, then dine time is lit for a certain number of seconds. Now, dine time is the rightmost shot, which is that, what do you call it? Gobble holes, I think. You call that a gobble hole. Yeah. It's not an easy shot, but if you hit it, and dine time is still going when you hit it, then you collect on the 12 million bonus. And it's one of those ones. It's a time shot, and if you get it and you've built up your bonus to 12 million, it's just one of those great. I think I've only done it twice, and probably good players will be shaking their head because it's probably a lot easier than I remember in terms of it being a difficult pinball thing to do.
I mean,
but
it's
for me, yeah, yeah. But it's one of those moments, and I'm sure we've all had them on pinball where you literally fist pump like that guy during the Toy Story, Toy Story promo thing, and it just feels really good. And pinball's all about those moments. So yeah, that's my one, Rob.
Awesome. Well, as of today, our favorite shots in pinball. All right, so. We're gonna wrap things up. We got a couple things, show notes for you guys, but we've got a cool kind of segment planned for next show. So, Davey, you mind telling us about that one?
Yeah, we're just trying to come up with some cool ideas that could be a little bit sort of interactive with the audience, I guess, but also really drill down to sort of what it means to be a mod maker, I suppose. I had a couple of questions during seminar at EXPO about how we go about choosing what mods to do for pinball, and it's a great question because it's really multifaceted. There's actually a lot of thinking that goes into doing that, and it's not just that'd be incredible for that game, I would love to do that. There's more things involved in that. But what I thought would be fun was to get a random game from the audience. So any game, it could be probably not EMs because they're not the most mod friendly games in the world, but let's say anything from like early Stearns and Bally's and stuff onwards. Choose any game and we'll take a look at that game on the spot without any preparation, and Rob and I will talk about opportunities that game might have. We might look at the playfield and see that a particular sculpt on it could be improved, or we might be familiar with the game and realise that certain shots, if we wanted to do something that was game changing, we probably won't. But those are the kind of ideas we'll be looking at. Rob's obviously more predominantly focused with toppers, so we might, I might look at the playfield and Rob might look at the topper, but we don't really know the format yet. So what would be great is if we could get some ideas from anybody watching about what games to take a look at, and we'll have a look at that for the next game. Should we wait until the next stream before people announce that?
Yeah,
that
so
might be
no need to,
better, wouldn't it?
No need to chime in now, but at the start of next stream or pretty quickly in, we'll kind of open it up and we'll cherry pick some ideas based on what's coming in and maybe talk about a few even. So that'll kick off our next episode, which will be 2 weeks from now, fortnightly on.
It's gonna be a running gag, isn't it? Yeah.
Fortnightly.
Yeah. Mine doesn't do it.
I think I have to no, you don't must not have a Mac. There we go. November 20th.
I'm gonna get that set up.
This is 5 Eastern and 10 GMT. Messed up the timing on that. So guys, thank you so much for being with us. We're going to be on YouTube next week. We had to wait for our grace period to go live on YouTube, which apparently is a thing. And we'll have some kinks worked out for you guys. If you got any topics you want to cover, if you want to be on our show one day, if you want us to cover a mod, we're all about pushing your guys' stuff. So hit us an email
absolutely
at pinball@gmail.com. And then we do have a website up, inbeforethelock.com, and we're going to piece together this episode in 2 parts, post it up for you guys. We may do it in audio too. But Davey, I mean, thank you so much for like taking this on with me. This has been awesome.
Mate, thank you for suggesting
in like
it.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And
nothing
can keep us apart. Nothing can keep us apart.
Yeah. 10,000 miles and the Atlantic Ocean can't keep us apart, bro. Is it the Atlantic? Pacific? My geography ain't the best.
We'll do it together at some point. Maybe EXPO next year.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right.
Let's do that. All right.
Episode 1, signing
so much,
off. In before the lock. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.